Hi, this is Now Spinning Magazine and I'm Phil Aston, and on this episode we're looking at the Ian Gillan Band and the new release from Demon Records, which is Ian Gillan Band live at the Budokan. So live at the Budokan, it's been honoured by being repressed. It's been out of circulation on vinyl for forever. It was never actually in circulation if you lived in the UK. If you were in Japan or Australia, you were a bit lucky in being able to find this at the time. But the Demon Records have recently issued a box set with all the Gillan albums in, and we've also had some vinyl issues of the Gillan albums. And it's great that they've rolled back a little bit to look at the Ian Gillan Band, because this kind of misunderstood period of Ian Gillan's history, I feel, is really important. When all the Deep Purple members scattered across the world to find their own feet, and Ritchie Blackmore found his first with Rainbow, and of course in 1976 we had Rainbow Rising. David Coverdale was thinking, what shall I do, with Whitesnake, his first solo album, and North Winds. Ian Pace and John Lord are heading off to Pace, Ashton and Lord. Everyone was doing different things, and Gillan popped up with Child in Time, a totally different version of Child in Time. We'd Let It Slide was a great track on side 2. But there was an element there that we're heading towards kind of musician-led music, a bit of jazz rock and jazz fusion. And that came to, I feel, the pinnacle, and this is a lot of people rate this as one of Ian Gillan's finest moments, but it isn't just about him, is it? You know, this is Clear Air Turbulence from 1977. Clear Air Turbulence, Five Moons, Moneylender, Good Hand Leeser, Angel McElligott, and Over the Hill. Ian Gillan, Colin Towns, superb composer. Mark Naziaf on drums. Also saw action with G-Force, with Gary Moore, Ray Fenwick, really great guitarist, and really sad loss that we've lost him. And John Gustafson, we've also lost on bass and vocals. Chris Moss did the artwork, absolutely fantastic album, and I saw the band numerous times. I love them. And then, of course, they had a go at becoming a little shorter songs, a little bit more rockier for Scarabaeus. And then for all of us in the UK, we were hearing about in Japan, there were these 2 live albums, basically would be put together into a live double. This is one of them. This is volume 2. And they were just seen as like these, how do you get hold of these? And I eventually got a copy from Australia. I didn't go to Australia. I actually found one with a gatefold sleeve, all the pictures, etc. And then eventually Virgin reissued it as a single pack double album. I can't remember when that came out, but it looked like that on the CD. And this is the CD version that also came out Enzel Records. And it's gone again. And now it's back. So the same gatefold sleeve as I just showed you with the Australian double. And the 2 inner sleeves mimic I hope you're paying attention. I hope I'm paying attention. Mimic the kind of the Japanese, the original Japanese vinyl version. And on sides, because I pulled out sides 3 and 4 there, and on sides 1 and 2, we have the original front cover, and then the back cover. So on the Australian double, they put those pictures on the inside of the inner sleeve. That is the only thing that seems a tad weird, because I don't know what's wrong with that as being the album cover and that on the back. So what they've done here is made it look kind of, I don't know, not as this is the Ian Gillan Band live at the Budokan in Japan. Surely a picture of Ian Gillan on the front and the band would have, I don't know, made that a bit more attractive. The gatefold is fine. The reproduction of the photos, it's obviously a facsimile, but it's sharp enough. The other difference, of course, is my older version came on plain old black vinyl. This one comes on absolutely fluorescent, almost glow-in-the-dark orange vinyl. It does say on this that its mastering is by Phil Kinraid at Air Mastering and design Hugh Gilmore. I would have preferred the other design, Hugh probably, or something with Ian on. Anyway, besides the point, the remastering, I played. I haven't compared it to the CD because that's I've had that for years, and that's I play that whenever I played. But I did put on the Australian double, and I played that, and I then played the Japanese one. What was that on? I think it was on. I can't remember, but as I'm here, I might as well show you. It could have been, was it Toshiba? Eastworld, sorry. I played that as well. Because I know you want to know these things, don't you? And everything is exactly the same. So I always thought this sounded great, as does the Japanese pressing. But this new pressing sounds the same to me. I played it at a fair volume, and I've always thought this was great. I'm a fan of the Ian Gillan Band. I will do a feature on them properly and spend a bit more time on them, but this was my program for Clear Air Turbulence, and I waited backstage, and the whole band signed my program there. So I've got so this band means a lot to me. So a little bit about, for those of you who are umming and ahhing and think, what is this like? It's an absolutely amazing concert. The band didn't take off here in the UK. The Gillan Band were playing the Birmingham Odeon. I went to see them several times, and there was probably slightly less audience each time. We got Blackmore doing Rainbow Rising. People wanted harder music. This was a muso's band. And you can tell from the length of the tracks anyway, before they even took them live. But Clear Air Turbulence is an absolutely masterclass of jazz rock or jazz fusion, but it's also an incredible vocal performance by Ian Gillan. And the bass riff, the bass lines, and the Mark Nassif's drumming, what Ian Gillan has to sing over on Clear Air Turbulence is amazing. And it's just a great melody. My Baby Loves Me is the track that was unique to this album. Scarabus is a great song, a melody line that Ian Gillan took and kind of like supplanted onto Born Again by Black Sabbath later on. And Moneylender is a close enough to a kind of traditional rock riff as you're probably going to get, but it goes off to various guitar solos and synth solos. Twin Exhausted is a good little rocker as well. Over the Hill is the other big epic track from Clear Air Turbulence. And then we have Child in Time, which is a totally different version of Child in Time that you'd expect that if you've only heard the Deep Purple version. This is very different. It's very laid back. All the screams are there, but the guitar solo, Ray doesn't try and be Richie Blackmore. He tries to be Ray, and he succeeds. This really melodic, heartfelt guitar solo that it comes around a few times. What I'm trying to say, the introduction to the solo, he returns to it later on, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. It's always reminded me a bit the way Steve Morse played the solo in When a Blind Man Cries. It's got that kind of groove to it, but it's beautiful. And then side 4 is Smoke on the Water, and it's a funky version of Smoke on the Water. It's a long version, but it's really clever. It's the riff, and they obviously, you can imagine the band think, well, we've got to do a Purple number apparently, and so they play the riff, and then Mark Nassif plays the drum beat that goes along with the riff. It's so what you wouldn't expect. It's so like jazz fusion. I remember hearing it in Bogart's in Birmingham I'd already got it by this point, but it was played there by the DJ called Martin, who again sadly left us a long time ago. But a lot of people who didn't know this, thinking, "Whoa, my God! That's what have they done to Smoke on the Water?" I like it. I've always liked it. I think there's a version of this you can watch from an old VHS tape. And Mercury High was another track from Scarabus, and then Woman from Tokyo, which has a bit of funk jazz in it, but it's probably closer to the original, and it doesn't stretch too far away from the template that Purple laid down with that. But I think this is wonderful that this is available again. If you've already got it, you don't need to go and get it again. But if you've got into the Ian Gillan Band, or you really got into Ian Gillan over the last couple of decades or so, you won't have this because it's not been around. And it's a great pressing. It's very orange. But all the pictures that were on all the other versions are on the inner sleeves, even if the outer sleeve looks more mysterious than it needs to. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you think. Do you like the Ian Gillan Band? What do you think of this album anyway? But remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please take care. Become a Patron or YouTube member, and you'll see all the videos before anyone else. And also get an invite to our private communities on Facebook and WhatsApp. So keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.